So this might sound strange if you haven't heard about this before. We actually have several types of fat cells in our bodies. We have brown fat cells, we have beige, and we have white fat cells. Now, white fat cells are probably what you're most familiar with. Those are the fat cells which store energy. They store our extra food energy as fat. The basic cycle goes like this. You eat, your body stores any excess energy that it may take on from the food as fat. This is an emergency supply of energy for later. This is a survival mechanism. Biologically, this is going back all the way to our ancient ancestors. Our bodies are designed to store excess fat for times of famine so that we don't starve in case of food shortage, which was a lot more common thousands of years ago. Now, if you think back to the time of our caveman ancestors, this actually makes a lot of sense. Food was not always as available as it is today. Days, weeks, even months could potentially elapse with very little available food. So storing fat is not intrinsically a bad thing. In fact, it's a survival mechanism. The problem is that in modern times, we have access to such an abundance of food that we rarely, if ever, experience a single day where there isn't plenty to eat. Now, that's not a bad thing, but we never have to need to worry about our fat storage supplies. And for many of us, unfortunately, this leads to a path of excessive fat storage, which is not what we necessarily want. So in modern life, we look to diets and exercise and a variety of different ways to manage excess fat storage. And that is where the discovery of brown fat cells and their function becomes very interesting, because not all fat cells are created equally. In fact, our brown fat cells actually help us to burn fat. It seems a bit counterintuitive, I know, but a study published in Nature Medicine magazine consisting of over 52,000 men and women from various walks of life of various health and fitness levels. There was a very interesting discovery made between brown fat cells, white fat cells, and the obesity level of men and women. It was found that an increased presence of brown fat cells would actually increase the natural rate at which we burned white fat cells, burned the excess fat contained in white fat cells. Men and women with higher counts of brown fat cells would just naturally burn off more calories. They'd burn more fat. Now, normally in nature, brown fat cells serve the purpose of increasing our body's internal temperature. This is to compensate for cold environments like during the winter time. It is to help regulate our internal heating system. It also uses a lot of energy to create that heat, and that energy is drawn directly from our body's fat reserve. So in effect, these brown fat cells are drawing energy from our white fat cells storage, basically the fat around our midsections. Our brown fat cells are tapping right into that stored energy source and using that stored energy source to produce extra heat to keep our bodies regulated. Now, the question becomes, could we possibly trigger the activation of brown fat cells in any other way besides just standing out in the cold? And the answer is, yeah, turns out we can. Turns out we can actually stimulate the increase of brown fat cells in our system and the activation of these. In fact, there are a variety of plant medicines. There's Parelia, there's Kudza, there's holy basil, there is a Korean ginseng, there is amarcork bark, there's propolis. All of these plants or plant extracts have been shown to boost your natural levels of brown fat cells. And of course, the higher the level of your brown fat cell count, the faster you will naturally burn off excessive stored body fat, which is kind of the goal, right? So when I first discovered this myself, what I did is I actually went to Amazon and I bought up all of these different supplements individually, and I created a bit of a regime for myself in just taking them. But here's the thing. The problem is that if you just kind of wing it, if you just kind of start taking all of these supplements, well, here's the thing. Health and wellness, fat loss and everything is not a question of extreme or excess or doing one thing very right. If you work out too much, you exercise too much, you'll just create a great state of fatigue in your body. You won't get more healthy from doing more fitness. You have to find where the balance is, right? And that is true also of the supplementations that you take. So when it comes to something like trying to boost your brown fat cell levels by taking some of these various plant medicines that have been shown to boost brown fat cell levels, you're looking for an optimal balance that will create just the most ideal interaction within your system. Now here's where things get a bit tricky. It takes greater experts than myself to precisely formulate the balanced blended of plant nutrients in order to achieve an optimal result in terms of producing brown fat cells, to create that optimal alchemy within our bodies. That can be a complicated thing to figure out. Luckily, we don't have to. There are already experts who have precisely measured, formulated, and tested the most optimal balance of natural plant ingredients in order to achieve an optimal brown fat boosting level to burn those unwanted stored fat, white fat cells. I'm going to put a link nearby this video to the company that I recommend, that I suggest, the one that I've been using for a number of years now. This is Exipure, and they have been getting some amazing results for their customers. You can check out their website, and there is a lot more you can learn on their website, see some use case scenarios, get a little bit more information about the actual ingredients I used. Here are some great reviews, and for myself, I'm actually a testimonial to this particular product. My photo is not up on the website, but I have had some great results. Anyway, here's the interesting thing about Exipure. They're actually so confident in this product that they offer this nice 180-day, that's 6 months, money-back guarantee. If it doesn't work for you, that's kind of like, hey, what have you got to lose, right? That was my thinking when I first tried it. It's like, all right, what have I got to lose? 6 months, I don't like it, I'll probably turn it back, because there's so many different fat and weight loss products out there. Most of them don't work, but these guys, man, these guys have been around. They say they have over 100,000 5-star reviews, and you know what? I believe it. I actually believe it. So yeah, check them out if you're curious. I'm happy about it. Lots of people have used them and tried them. There's a lot of great buzz about this company on the website. Be sure that you use their official website link though, because you want to make sure you're getting just the right formula, and there are possibly some pretenders out there. I will leave a link nearby this video for their official website, so you can make sure you're using the right one. And yeah, check them out if you're interested. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.